on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This is Sooner Sports Talk, presented by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Sooner Sports Talk is also brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And by Riverwind Casino, always a good time. This is Sooner Sports Talk. Now, here's Chris Plank and Teddy Lehman.
Yes. It is time. Kickoff is Saturday.
Bam.
Let's freaking go.
Let's go.
Let's go. You guys know Teddy Lehman, right? Butkus Bednarik Award winner, the bearded one. How about this guy? The head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, Brent Venables. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great.
I'm ready to go.
Hey,
I don't know if you can't tell.
congratulations. You made it up
Big
to
time.
yeah.
I got elevated here. Toby's TV guy now. He's all fancy pants, so I get to slide in here and hang with you
Well,
every
we're
Monday
fortunate
night.
to have you, man.
I'm pumped
you're the
to be
best.
here with
Appreciate
you, Coach. It's a blast. And, boy, it's got to be exciting to finally hit someone else.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it is. Our guys aren't tired of camp or each other. At least I'm speaking for them. Right. Oh, yeah, they don't. They just love camp. They'd start over if we let them. No, it's been like this infectious buzz and energy that has lasted throughout the course of camp. It's hard to describe, but when you've been doing this is my 31st year doing it as a full-time coach. You know, it's different. It's very palpable, and but the excitement and the energy that is surrounded, you know, with first week and the opener. I mean, that's real too. Mm-hmm. And we had a fantastic camp that's really just created a lot of momentum going in here to the first week. Had a great practice here. Just got off the field a few minutes ago, and guys are excited to play and build. And again, if we're doing it right, we're going to kind of look like this somehow, some way, just getting better, you know, all year long.
Well, there's a lot of new out there. You got new players, you got some new staff members, and new offensive coordinator. You know, whenever you think about it, because he had his quarterback ahead of typically what you see maybe whenever you have a new offensive coordinator trying to bring the whole team up and learn the system, felt like at least back in the spring, like they kind of hit the ground running maybe a little bit quicker than you would typically see.
That's a great point, and no doubt that has taken place. I think it's twofold. His background and the system that he cut his teeth on originally, and it's grown and evolved and has lots of different, you know, layers to it. But the familiarity with the staff and their exposure to some of those things in the Lincoln Riley offense has carried over, you know. But the number one thing is, you know, Ben's a fantastic leader. He's very natural relationally, and from a leadership standpoint. And there's this continuity and chemistry that he and Coach Coos and you know, obviously John have that they literally, it's like riding a bike, just another color of uniform. And that's been fun to watch. But he did a great job, as I've said many times, you know, developing really good relationships with the rest of the staff, the players, you know, in the locker room. And then they've put a lot of time in since January to, you know, put a product out there.
Our opening segment is brought to you by Noble McIntyre with McIntyre Law. Noble McIntyre Law, award-winning Oklahoma personal injury attorneys. Now, we've talked a lot this offseason about John Mateer.
Yeah.
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't open talking a little bit more about him. How have you seen him progress from camp into game prep mode and just really embracing that now captain/leadership role?
Yeah, he's from the moment he's gotten here, he's had this great humility, hunger to learn, hunger to grow, hunger to lead, hunger to please, all of those things that just a lot of young guys that age are not into as readily as he has been. And he has shown up with intention and purpose every single day to do those things, not to be the new hot shot, highest paid, you know, player in the locker room, whatever, you know, that maybe could be, you know, kind of a byproduct of a guy that, you know, is very highly sought after. It couldn't be more opposite of all of those things that I said. So he's been fantastic. His capacity is really high, and he's just he's a fun guy to be around. Super competitive, really thoughtful, and he cares about his teammates and his coaches, so much.
Cares for the fans too.
Yeah.
I think we've seen.
Yeah, and the fans, and
he
representing, wearing the crimson and cream. He knows the honor and expectation and the standard that comes along with that, and he's embraced that. He hasn't shied away from it whatsoever.
And it feels like the rest of the team has too. It feels like it's a given that the quarterback's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
But and I remember you saying this right out of the gate. Like, he came in and started working right away. And you got to earn it. You got to earn the respect from your teammates and go out there and be able to do it on the field. And have you seen that? He can do it on the field,
yeah,
right?
No, he definitely can do it on the field every day. I've seen it. But he's, just like you said, he's built bridges and relationships very naturally and organically with everybody in the locker room, not just, the offensive side of the ball or just the offensive lineman. He's really, and it's been almost effortless, but I know it's been intentional because he knows the value of that and what role that position plays on a team to be able to galvanize and to be able to bring out the best in guys every single day.
Coach, you did mention a captain. He's one of 7 captains, permanent captains this year. What led to you wanting to do that this year?
Yeah, I've been on programs here. I was here for 13 years, and we were one of the winningest teams in college football. Had permanent captains. We had some excellent captains that, and I think that you look at that 13 years, I saw most of the years that the guys that were voted captains by their teammates also led like captains you would want them to lead from beginning to end. There was also a couple of years where some guys that were voted captains that maybe midway or three-fourths of the way through the year, they started feeling themselves and checked out and weren't great leaders. Maybe popular, but weren't great leaders. When I was at Kansas State, we did game captains as well. And then when I went to Clemson, who over that decade that I was there, again, played for 4 national championships, won 7 ACC championships, and was the second winningest team in the country, we did weekly captains. And the reason you do weekly captains is to try to develop some younger leaders, and sometimes leadership is not a age. Leadership is not a title. Leadership is action and work. And then at the end of the year, just like we did here, we voted, the players voted for permanent captains for your last month of the season, kind of carry that over into, your off season. So, look, man, I looked at everything, and I don't think that's been the difference between us, winning and losing. But everything matters to some degree, and I did feel like there was some definitive. I knew without question who the leaders were based on January to where we're at right now, and I knew the players would vote. And something, again, you're always surprised. It never goes exactly like you thought it would, but proud of the guys that were voted captain. It's one of the biggest honors that you can have in a locker room, to have the trust and the respect of your teammates. Nothing bigger in the locker room than that. And a lot of responsibility that goes along with that. It's not a popularity contest. It's not, okay, I'm voted captain, I run out, and then that's your role. That isn't the role, actually. It goes well beyond that, and heavy is the crown, but these guys will do a wonderful job.
Well, one of the questions I get asked a lot, specifically about the defense, because you have some leadership on both sides of the ball, but just watching the defense, it kind of reminds me of a million years ago whenever I played, because it's like, well, who were the guys? It's like, there really wasn't a guy. Yeah. You just kind of have a big group. They've all been in this scheme now for multiple, not everyone, but a big chunk of guys have been in the scheme together. Everyone knows their role. So, I mean, to me, it feels like you got a whole list of guys out there that hold one another accountable. It doesn't fall on just 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah, great point. There's several players that have invested get to the roster to this point. Some of the former players that aren't here anymore, they did a great job. Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, Ethan Downs. Those guys in particular were guys that really laid a wonderful foundation. This is how you lead, emotionally, physically, consistently, passionately, and we have some natural, leadership, in on the defensive side of the ball. But to your point, a ton of guys that have returning experience, that have invested a lot in this program, and are very natural, to be, selected. But it's really cool for me to see guys like, again, and this just goes back to, again, recruiting, development. Our coaches have done a wonderful job over the last 3.5 years. The Grayson Halton, who's one of the best pass rushers in the country. A guy like an R. Mason, Thomas, that, again, we beat Iowa State to get him. Kip Lewis and Kobe McKenzie, Gentry Williams, Robert Spears Jennings, and several other players that. When we offered PJ, he was a 3-star guy that, several months later turned into a 5-star guy. And so I say that these are guys that have worked incredibly hard, and they have developed through that hard work. And now this is their time. They feel like this is their team, and they like to practice. They like to compete. They lay it on the line every day. And so I think you saw in the voting that was reflected.
And you mentioned there was a lot of guys that got voted, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that with Toby last night?
Yeah, a ton of guys.
And that's got to be pretty reassuring, too. That
No doubt. It wasn't a surprise.
Yeah, that's
It
awesome.
wasn't a surprise.
Hey, our opening segment again brought to you by Noble McIntyre, award-winning Oklahoma personal injury attorney Noble McIntyre. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the depth chart and preview Illinois State. You're watching Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Stick around.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino, it's always a good time. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties. Fan-fueled, athlete-focused.
On 2nd and 11 from the 45, back to pass. Milroe looks right, throws right, picked off. Kip Lewis down the sidelines. 20, 15. He did it again. He did it again. Kip Lewis, pick 6. Kip Lewis, Kip 6. Oh, Bubba.
Welcome back to Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables. In case you can't tell, we're live from Rudy's, and it is hoppin'. He's the head coach, Brent Venables, and this segment is brought to you by Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. We got a depth chart today.
Did we?
Venables. Yeah, we got a depth chart.
Put out one of those?
It's chiseled
What does
into
that? What does that
stone.
mean?
You cannot veer away from the depth chart, Coach.
We had a few ors on there, but I look at that and say competitive depth.
Yeah, we
right?
got competition. I love it. I mean, that's a great thing, for us. And there's nothing wrong with somebody that pulled away from the pack and solidified themselves. That's a great thing too.
Yeah.
One guy didn't have an R, Mason Thomas, birthday boy.
Yeah.
You mentioned him. 21 years old
today. Yeah.
It's crazy. What a great story of development. And you look at him as a captain. What a great leader. What a great kid. Like to see him in the community, to see him, he does the Sooner Choice Award stuff. He was really involved with that. I mean, a guy that's worth your investment, worth your time as a fan and as a businessman.
Yeah, he's come a long way. And he was the first guy I sent Coach Chavis to go see. I hired Chavis, and within the first 30 minutes of being hired, I told him, don't come to Norman. Go to Pompano Beach and go down to, see our Mason Thomas. So really cool, great story, wonderful family. His mother's got 3 sisters. And he's really, again, through a lot of hard work, man, he's really developed in one of the most explosive defenders in all of college football. Was offered, well over 7 figures to leave Oklahoma in the offseason. And, but, just goes to show, again, the type of character, type of care, the type of investment that he has here at Oklahoma, what, his opportunity means to him. So really cool to see. Great leader.
That position's been a lot of fun to watch. Danny Okoye's had a really nice camp. Taylor Wine, Marvin Jones Jr. You mentioned PJ earlier.
Yeah.
You got some guys there now.
Yeah, you named them all, and it has, and everybody's kind of had their different day where they're like, wow, and it's been really for the most part, a consistent group. and through fall camp, but from where we were, and I could say this about almost every position on the team, where we were in the spring to where we're at right now. And you always hope that that's the case, and I was a little uneasy about some spots, on defense and offense for that matter. Just again, where I didn't feel amazing yet, and a lot of that left to be desired. Just the consistency that you want from everywhere, and through the summer and fall camp, we see it across the board.
I know we probably don't talk as much about coaches as we should, but can I give you a tip of the cap for the development of Miguel Chavis and the confidence you put in him? What a trip that guy is. I mean, he keeps bringing in solid players, developing them, and he has a passion for it that is unbridled. I mean, kudos to you, man. And giving him a shot.
Me. No, it's not me. It's Miguel's got a lot of special traits, and I got a staff full of people that are like that. But he's got great wisdom. He's super passionate. He loves the players. He's a tough guy. He's very demanding. He doesn't compromise. He understands and recognizes what the standard needs to look like. But he has a unique way of leading and challenging and encouraging, affirming, yet again squeezing all the juice out of the guys that he can. And they love playing for him.
One of the groups I really like watching and has been really exciting to watch them all develop. They're like a herd of buffalo. Every time I see them, they all walk around in a pack together as the defensive line.
Yeah.
And wow, just the steps that a lot of those guys have taken.
Hey,
is
listen,
crazy.
where we got here, I'm just, and it ain't no offense to nobody. And I think we had 5 underclassmen on defense that decided to go to the NFL, and several of them were on the defensive line. Benito, Isaiah Thomas,
Perrion
Winfrey. Might have been another one. We had Brian Asamoah. Now there was a safety, Turner Yell.
Yep.
Those were all guys that chose to leave. And I'll be honest, we had not done a great job on our defensive roster prior to that. And a couple of guys that were good were Ethan and Danny and Billy. And they've really developed. But after that, we were really thin, and it wasn't anywhere close to where we needed to be. And but you look at where we're at now, the competitive depth there, be able to go in this conference and more than hold their own, be one of the better units in the country, inside and outside, and then be a group of guys that are fun to coach. They want you to push them. They want the truth. They want accountability. And they want a challenge. They want that smoke when it comes to playing at a high elite level. They want to be the backbone of the team. They want to be the example for everybody else. This is how you work. This is how you show up. This is the passion. This is the physicality. This is the effort. And it's just been, Todd Bates and Miguel and Trent Simpson are analyst that works, with our defensive line as well, and Rufus Alexander coaches with that group of guys as well. Those guys have recruited, they've developed, they've demanded, they've nurtured, all of the things that you want. They've been amazing. They really have.
Yeah, and then on the interior, you were just talking about the defensive line as a whole. Dominic Williams, Grayson Halton, David Stone, seeing what, in a freshman All-American, Jane Jackson that you've got. Marcus Strong is a guy you've brought up a couple times.
Trent Wilson.
Who looks like he's 30, and he's a freshman. I mean,
listen,
dude's like ready to go.
I said it in the spring about him. His ability to pick up the depth of what we do, maintain the consistency that he did all spring, just never got distracted for a young player. A lot of young players, they just get distracted. They get too mentally tired. It's just too hard to show up every day and be, at 8 or 9 on the Richter scale, and that's what it takes. And you could be exposed quickly. And it wasn't like he was perfect, but the older guys did a great job of helping him along the way. But at the end of the day, he has to, fight his own fight and show up with ambition and do a lot of the, doing what's required is never enough. And so, but again, Jaden Jackson, and I know
I saw him. So. He had the off-season surgery, played with that shoulder brace on for a lot of the season. I was like, I wonder, how that's going to affect him. I watched one rep of fall camp. I was like, not at all. That dude looks incredible.
Yeah, and a lot of times, playing great defense, you may not notice you may not notice this, somebody calling somebody's name, but there's disruption going on. There's knockback going on. There's, taking on a double team without getting any kind of movement. So a lot of those things, they don't show up over the press conference or over the loudspeaker rather, or on the stat sheet, but it's invaluable. And if you're going to be good on defense, you got to be good up the middle. And like Dom Williams, his transformation since January, his decision that he's going to approach everything, with a different mindset, with detailed and a relentlessness. A year ago, there's no way he would have gotten the votes that he did as a captain. And now, man, it was like night and day what he did. And he sustained it from January to where we're at today, where he probably would tell you he dreaded practice, and I don't know if he was a shortcutter or not. I don't want to label him that, but his ability to sustain, the passion, the intensity, the physical toughness, and the effort is at a whole different level. David Stone, just what we said in the spring, he did the same thing all summer in fall camp, and then again, you said it, Marcus Strong. He's going to be a guy that is in the rotation that's going to help us. He's a big, strong, powerful, instinctual guy that's heavy-handed, and he may not be quite where the other guys are, but it's not far behind. And then Trent Wilson, Nigel Smith, did a few good things too, transitioning inside.
That's Brent Venables at Sooner Sports Talk. We'll take a break live from Rudy's. This segment's been brought to you by Dos Equis. We'll talk about Saturday night and get you ready for the season. Stick around.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality.
And this drive starts with a handoff. Barnes, left side, bounces 30. Nice. Outside, still on his feet. Watch out. He's to the 40. Race to the end zone. 45-40. There goes Barnes. He's in the clear. 20, 15, 10, 5. Tripped up. He reaches for the pylon. Give it to him. 75-yard on the opening play.
As Javante Barnes, top of the depth chart. What a camp he's had. This segment's brought to you by the great crew over at Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. I-35 and Highway 9. How about that for Javante Barnes, man? Bring in some competition. Jay not in that room. Tory Blaylock has been fantastic, and boom. Maybe Barnes' best camp that he's had?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. His best camp by far. And some other guys in that group, were not available for the whole camp. So he and Tory did a great job, the two of them. They carried kind of the load during camp, and it's good. But you'll see obviously, Jaden and Xavier as well. Taylor Tatum is still unavailable, so hopefully we'll get him back pretty quick. But Javante's been great. It's brought out the best of him. He's injuries have kept him from getting any kind of real rhythm. I think he's missed 9 of his last 22 games with different things, and it's a tough position to play. Takes a lot of hits, but he's been great, man. All spring, summer, and fall camp. He's like you would want, man. If you're doing it right, man, you're playing your best football at the end of your career. You'd be the first one to tell you. I mean, again, you had to learn how to be a linebacker, and where you started as a freshman, right? You weren't even capable of getting in the game as a freshman. Right, and we would put you in the game. You got a punt blocked, almost lost the game because of you.
It took 30 minutes into the first show of the year.
Week 1, we knew we were going to get
there. Lined up, you left tackle, and let the guy run right by you.
That's
touchdown.
really a bad coaching choice. It's like the hardest
That's what I said all the time. I tell Doug Deacon, you're putting your mortgage on a true freshman, and all the guys you get to choose from. No, but yeah, playing your best ball at the end of your career through development, through overcoming, through wisdom. The game starts to slow down. You just see things in a different lens.
Yeah. Now Blaylock is a guy. I saw him in the spring, and the speed stands out. And, you see him out on the perimeter. It's like, yeah, he looks good out there, but, maybe he's a guy that may take a little time. Well, see him at fall camp. It looks like he's put some good weight on, and that dude can go between the tackles now. He's got some toughness.
He's been fun to watch, and to me, that's his best quality is his mental and physical toughness, his ability to pass pro, his ability to run through trash, his instincts and pace behind the ball, and he's incredibly explosive. Doesn't take him much to get to the second and the third level of the defense. He led the team in explosive plays in spring ball, and he picked up where he left off. He's very mature, super serious about being great, loves to work, loves to compete, don't back down from anything. And really, he established himself in fall camp. Regardless of what anybody else did or didn't do, he established himself.
There is one real wild note on this depth chart, and that is at tight end, where Jaren Kanak and his now superstar dog, Burger, are at the top of the depth chart. You see those pictures of Jaren with his dog? What a trip this guy is. Just take us through how he's been able to do this.
Well, again, we lost our starting two tight ends, our top two tight ends from a year ago. And Caden Helms, he hurt his hand in practice one day, and so that really hurt him. But really, I think Jaren just has this consistent body of work. He's a tremendous athlete. He's really tough. He's smart. He's got good instincts. He loves to compete. He's going to be on the right side of a lot of those competitive battles. He's going to show up every single day, and he's going to be a guy that's detailed and passionate about what he's doing. And so, that's the formula for success. And Carson Kent's done a nice job. Will Huggins has done a nice job. And Caden, when he was, completely healthy, had actually done a really good job through the spring and summer. And so hopefully he'll be able to get that cast off here soon so he can, play at a more consistent level. But, you remember Jaren had never played linebacker before when he came. And his first time getting in the game, I think the second series of the game, Deshaun White got kicked out of the game for a targeting in Lincoln, and Jaren's a true freshman, and we threw him out there. He had never been in a game as a linebacker in his life, and even as a defensive player in college, and he had 10 tackles, and he didn't know what he was doing.
Flying around.
And but that's what, again, good football players, they do that, and and nobody's proclaiming him to be George Kittle or anything else, man. Just be the best version of you, fit into what we need you to do here, and make the plays that we need you to make. Position yourselves to make the blocks that you need to, and this make sure as a staff we ask him, whoever's in there, you put them in a position to be successful. Ask them to do what they're capable of doing.
Another group that to me is really exciting is the offensive line. Felt like this time last year, it's musical chairs to try and find 5 guys that you can put out there that are healthy at the same time. And now you look at pretty much all those positions. I think the depth chart had several oars on there, but you look through it, there's guys that got experience a year ago. Brought a transfer in, couple of young guys that are playing really good. Feels like you got, some depth there.
Yeah, we got more guys that are capable of playing winning football. And you're right. A year ago, again, we played our 4 centers during the first half of the year. Most people don't have 2 centers, let alone 4. And if you got 4, you have none, right? And, but yeah, and again, just guys like Sexton or guys like Logan Howland or a guy like Mike Fasusi or Jake Taylor. That's been a group of guys. You've got Derek Simmons and Luke Bakalenko. A couple of the transfers that have come in as well, all have worked really well together. Not only competing, but getting the chemistry and the continuity down with that group. And then inside, I think that we've got tremendous depth in there, really quality play, between, our guards and our centers that, we have on the roster. It's going to be fun to watch who runs out there. But we got great leadership there and the kind of toughness, that you got to have in this league.
Real quick to put a wrap on this segment, I feel like we've hit every position but receiver. Rebuilt that receiver room. Giovanni Gibson unfortunately got dinged up, but he had a great spring. And Kentez Lewis has stepped up. You've seen, Deion Burks be Deion Burks. How are you feeling about that overhauled room?
Yeah, good. It's been a lot of fun. It's to watch. Last year wasn't fun in any way. All right. But it's been fun to see that group since January kind of be built. And Emmett and staff have done a really nice job of finding guys that have real value. Again, a guy like Giovanni Gibson, who's like, everybody's like, wow. And I know he's just from Arkansas Pine Bluff, so surely he can't play, but he's a dude. And but Keontez Lewis, Isaiah Sategna, Burks has been ultra consistent and explosive. And then all the young players that got baptized. Remember, last year we played the second most freshmen in all of college football. Our last game of the year against Navy, we had 53 scholarship players available. And that's including guys like a Danny or a Billy that, chose not to risk things. And but out of those 53 guys, 24 of them were freshmen, 12 on defense and 12 on offense in our two deep. And so in 23, we played the most freshmen in college football. Last year, we played the second most. And that's going to, and again, you just talked about the offensive line. Certainly, they're going to be a benefactor of the experience that those guys gained. The lessons that you learn, even as you're getting baptized and beat, success doesn't teach you anything. You learn and grow and get better through, the failure and the adversity and some really tough moments along the way. And the receiver group is no different. Whether it's Kearney or Carry On, young guy like Zion Raggins, we were forced to play with some guys that maybe weren't quite ready, but as you saw them as the year went on, they got a little bit better, made some good plays there down the stretch, and now they're completely different. I mean, Carry On, some of the plays he's made in fall camp, he's been so consistent. He knows how to block now. Just his confidence, like you would expect all the guys. Their bodies have changed, their mind has changed, their approach has changed. Certainly, again, the confidence that comes from a lot of hard work and understanding of what we're doing. They've completely transformed mind, body, and spirit. And so that's added to the value of that group as well. And so it's been very consistent group throughout the course of fall camp. Have made tons of explosive plays, and then you got a couple of young guys like Manny Choice or
Elijah Thomas, right?
Yeah, Elijah Thomas as well. That again, they're babies still, and we're going to throw them in the fire, and they'll make some mistakes, and they'll run the wrong route, and they'll block the wrong guy. And but if you want to be a really good receiver, you got to block. You got to know who to target and how to help us create the run game. You can't play running back by yourself. You can't. We're going to be a successful rushing football team. It's not just going to be because the offensive line is doing their job. There's a lot of guys that got to go into that, and guys got to learn the value. Most of the time, the freshmen are the ones that struggle the most when it comes to run blocking and how to target people, knock people out, and move safeties out of there and make the little corner tackle, your running back and things like that. But that's been a fun group to watch. That's a group that, there's a lot of those guys that I mentioned. They're not scarred up. I forgot to mention, Jermichael Carter as well. Yeah. And that group overall as a whole, probably the number one thing that you've enjoyed watching is the competitive juice of that group. Man, they show up every day. They love to compete. They like practice. They talking noise to the DBs. DBs talking noise back to them. They're winning, their share of battles. And so much different place from a leadership, passion, energy, toughness than where we were a year ago with that group.
Yeah. All right. We got one more segment with Coach Venables. We'll talk about Saturday night next at Sooner Sports Talk, live from Rudy's.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
Mensah's got it. Sooners bring 4. Mensah under pressure. Hit as he throws. R. Mason knocked the ball loose. He picked it up. R. Mason Thomas. He's unstoppable in the fourth quarter. He forced the fumble, picked it up. He's a one-man wrecking crew, and you can unhitch the wagon.
Awesome, man. How great is Toby Rowland, the voice of the Sooners? This segment is brought to you by Mercy. Mercy, your life is our life's work. All right, let's take a look at our upcoming schedule. It's brought to you by One Oklahoma. This is your One Oklahoma Sooner Sports schedule. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan field, athlete focused. We get to play some football on Saturday night. Illinois State's coming in. They're kind of a beast in the FCS, Coach.
Yeah, they are. I think they're one of maybe 6 teams. The powers to be the experts in FCS football have predicted to have a chance to win the national championship. They're coming off a 10-win season. They've had a staff that have been together for a long time. Brock Spatt, he's a guy that he's a great football coach. And
old linebacker coach.
Yeah, the old linebacker coach. But he's been there a long time. They know who they are. They play really disciplined football. They were good schemes, both sides of the ball. I think they have preseason 6 FCS All-Americans on their team. They've got a lot of experience returning in their front 7 on defense. Super active, and they're aggressive there, and really tough and physical. They have a lot of new guys in their, at safety and corner. But I know they feel good about the guys they brought in, the transfers that they brought in. I think they brought in maybe 10 guys there. And then on offense, they have most of their experience back at the skill and the quarterback position. Quarterback threw for well over 3,000 yards, can really run, really athletic, not a really big guy, but he could spin it, super accurate, knows the offense very well, throws the ball on time. Had a couple of receivers. They had a receiver we tried to recruit here, Xavier Lucas. He went to Missouri. And but they also had another guy that had 86 catches, big 6'4", 6'5" guy, had 86 catches. He's back. And a slot receiver, kind of like a little Jacob Jordan, a Hunter Renfrow type of guy that's really good, 65 catches. And they run a really good scheme. And they don't have a lot of guys coming back. I think 2 starters coming back up front. And but they know who they are. They got a big running back that's returning. He's had back-to-back years. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards. Super instinctual downhill runner. Big guy. Catch the ball well as well. And then well coached in the special team. So there'll be a group of guys. And I told our guys, look, it's going to sound like a broken record. This is going to be about us, about our mindset, our preparation, our details, our physicality, our relentless effort, our willingness to lay it on the line and compete and show up to a standard, every single snap.
Well, you watched, they played Iowa first game of the season last year, and they got after them in the first half. That on defense, that old school 3-4 defense, and they bring a lot of pressure from a bunch of different areas. That's going to be a big challenge, communication, getting everyone blocked up front, and be a nice little test early on. Yeah,
you're right. They people look at the end score and can easy to judge, but they moved the ball really well in the first half, and as they got closer to the red zone, everything gets harder down there. And Iowa played really good defense, responded well, but. Yeah, they'll be excited to be here, but like I said, this is about creating momentum and rhythm for us on the season, and finding out where we are, and we'll discover where some spots are that we got to get better, and just like everybody in college football, and but I'm really excited to see these guys have an opportunity to go out and just turn it loose. Man, coaches get off the field and let these guys, figure out the identity, of this football team and develop, as the season goes along here.
And that was our Rudy's question for Coach. Remember, for the best in real Texas barbecue, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Y'all plan on being loud for Coach and this team Saturday night, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Best of luck.
Sooner. Thanks, everybody.
Boomer Sooner. That's Brent Venables. Right. We're back to wrap Sooner Sports Talk next.
Good work.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports.
Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
Kneels it down, and that'll do it. And here they come. They're not going to keep them off the field in Norman. Oklahoma has upset Alabama, and they have rolled the Tide right out of the college football playoff picture.
I learned a lesson. Don't just run to the middle of the field if there's a field storming.
Get stuck there, right? Or
Yeah, I was there pretty much all night long until everyone got. I was just standing in the middle waiting for
I feel like
Coach.
that's not going to happen if we beat Illinois State.
Yeah, I think I'll be safe this weekend. But this final segment is brought to you by your local Sonic. Live free, eat Sonic. Teddy, speaking of that, Saturday night. Friday night was last year. Saturday night, what are you looking for? What do you want to see out of this team?
Well, offensively, we all want to see Mateer do some magic, right?
Right.
See him maybe light up some deep balls, get going in the running game a little bit. Throw it, catch it. I'm excited to see the running backs and the offensive line go to work. I think there's going to be a really good improvement with the O-line. Just be smooth, be clean, don't turn the ball over. And defensively, at least from what I've seen so far, I feel like this group has a chance to be really, really good. They've got some guys that can be really, really big-time playmakers at a bunch of different positions. And then everyone on that side of the ball, if Kendall Daniels starts at Cheetah, he would be your only newcomer that wasn't in this defense. So other than, some freshmen that may get time. So it's pretty rare to not have 3 or 4 transfer portal guys that are starting for you out there. So it's going to be fun.
Thanks, man. I love hanging out with you, Teddy.
You're the man.
And the beard is awesome, by the way, right? Hey, we'll see you Saturday night on the Sooner Radio Network, starting with a 2 p.m. pregame for the 5 o'clock kick, Boomer Sooner.
Sooner Sports Talk has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue, and by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.